our founder flames. This right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum.
Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe.
What is coming up in this series?
Hey, beautiful souls. Let's dive into something magical today. Have you ever heard of the Ascended Masters? Think of them as wise, loving guardians, beings who've walked the earth, mastered their spiritual lessons, and now guide us from higher realms.
Beautiful, beautiful matrix grid. So you could connect with Amethyst, and then intentionally connect with Saint Germain, and then you can work with Saint Germain and Amethyst.
GSF, God, Sovereign, Free. So that's just like the phrase that we like to use, that we carry through the universe to help us remember our divine sovereignty as the one that is experiencing itself. So there are three original primal order sound fields that make up the ray aspects of our entire universal creation in the universal time matrix. The solar rishi are the first triad of light manifestations that make the universal trinity, that are projected from the emerald order and blue flame, the gold order and gold flame, and amethyst order, violet flame, in the light body of the planet Earth. The Earth consciousness body is directly interconnected in all harmonic universes to interface with the human consciousness, which is its life form expression in all densities. In the fifth harmonic universe, there is no dimensionalization into matter forms. May we open this container in this sacred space today, being embraced with the divine presence of the blue ray, the blue flame, the first ray of God's will into the universe. May it come clear, and may it bless us with its consciousness as we explore and deep dive into this new, fresh episode in this brand new week of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. So as you guys saw, we did a little recap of last week. And last week we kicked off the first ever sessions of this series or show. And with that, we explored the basic fundamentals and the blueprint system of what it is that we are in, as in the 15-dimensional universal time matrix system. And with that, we got to learn about the Ascended Masters and where the Ascended Masters lie when it comes to our 15-dimensional universe. And we got to learn about the different founder flames of light that come from sound and light vibration into the formation of our universal time matrix. So we got to learn about the threefold founder flame, which comprises of the blue flame and the emerald order, the pink flame with the amethyst order, as well as the yellow flame of the gold order. So now we are going to be exploring this week these three different flames and the orders that tie in and correlate with these flames that help bring forward and carry through embodiment and through different dimensions these different rays of the universal creator. So with that being said, I'm going to give us a little preview about today's episode. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about the first ray of light in our spectrum. And that is the blue ray, which is the ray of God's will.
Are you fascinated by secret orders and mystical fires? The blue flame and emerald order hold more secrets than you think. So let's dive in. Across fantasy literature and pop culture, the blue flame burns with more than just heat. It's a symbol of rare power, spiritual awakening, and hidden knowledge. From ancient alchemy to modern wizard sagas, a blue flame shows up whenever truth or transformation is near. And then there's the Emerald Order, often depicted as a secretive group guarding wisdom, balance, and sometimes the fate of worlds. The color green represents life, growth, and the promise of something eternal. Put together, the blue flame and Emerald Order evoke a journey, one that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Next time you spot these symbols in a book or movie, remember, they're never just for show. They're ancient codes, inviting us to seek out truth, embrace change, and maybe, just maybe, find a little magic of our own.
Thank you to our fellow AI for that little graphic video for us. So yeah, that gives you just a little bit of insight into what the Blu-ray is. And we're going to be diving real deep in this episode on what the Blu-ray is. And we're going to be hitting it from multiple different angles, different references and resources. And we're going to also talk about the Ascended Masters as well as the Archangels and crystals that we can connect with consciously in our everyday life as a human being, to be able to access and activate more of this emerald order or blue ray of light in our life. And with that, we will also be doing a closing out practice as well with these different aspects that we can connect with. So you guys can experience for your own self how to set up a practice and what it can feel like and what the experience can be like for you. So with that being said, before we begin and dive in, I just want to introduce myself a little bit for those that don't know me yet. And my name is ChristoLight. I am the founder or the creator of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. And my main intentions is to build, bridge, and connect communities worldwide. And with that, I am always open and inviting communities to bridge with other communities so that we can become bigger communities with the communities that we already have established. And with that, we're able to bring our gifts together, bring our skills together, our knowledge and our wisdom, and we're able to help cultivate and build this beautiful planetary grid together. And along with that, one of my main intentions is to help bring wisdom, knowledge, and tools for everyday life to holistically and consciously be able to balance and maintain your being. And along with that, I am a producer. I also have a broadcast network for you on YouTube. And you guys are probably tuned in right now, the broadcast network. I also stream other people's content and produce as well. Along with that, I also offer one-on-one reading. I also do light language activations, chakra balancing, subconscious reprogramming, inner child healing, life coaching, shadow work patterns, and much more, including starseed, akashic origin meditations as well. That is a unique practice that I cultivated myself, and it basically is like a combination, a akashic record reading, a that come with that. You guys can check out on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Broadcast Network. Go to playlist, go to Soul Origin, Galactic Therapy Meditations, and you'll see 2 testimonies about the wonderful experiences that took place. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive in. Well, actually, I almost forgot. Before we dive in, let's go ahead and get ourselves nice and centered, and let's do our self-scan check-in. So for the self-scan check-in, go ahead and just get yourself comfortable so you can sit, lay down. If you're standing, you have to stand. That's okay too. And basically what we're going to do is I'm just going to guide us through consciously breathing. And as we breathe, we're going to go through the mind, we're going to go through the emotions, and then we're going to go through the physical body. And we're just going to breathe the breath of life through each of these aspects of ourselves to help bring any centering and harmonization to our being. So, with that being said, feel free to grab crystals, burn some sage, get your altar set up, whatever it may be, and we'll be back in 44 seconds. All right. Now, with that being said, feel free to close your eyes and begin to go within and focus on the breath. As we now want to go ahead and bring focus to our mind as we breathe. Relaxing our shoulders, relaxing our toes, relaxing our fingers, relaxing our jaw. And as we explore the mind, we are just observing, not attaching to the thought patterns, the negative belief forms, any memories that are taking over our present. any self-sabotaging thoughts. We're breathing into this and allowing the breath to clear and alleviate. Remembering that we are loved, that we are intelligent, that we are connected to divine wisdom, and our beliefs may align with our highest will of the Creator. And as we continue to breathe, we are now going to direct our focus into our emotional body. As we observe the emotional body, we are observing if there is any stagnation in our vibratory field due to emotions, breathe, observing the emotions, feeling if there's any wounding or tender areas that could use softening and unconditional love, breathing this love. And as we observe, are we being overcharged? Are we being overtaken unconsciously by our emotional reactions or impulses? If so, breathe and restore balance. Now, with the breath, we are going to go ahead and move into our physical body. And as we observe the physical body, we begin to breathe through all of our layers, from the skin and the pores to the cells, to the neurons, to the blood, muscles, tissue, ligaments, bones, all receiving the breath of life. With every breath, it rebalances and regenerates our biofield. Clearing away the toxins, the pollution, listening to the body and what it needs. Does it need to be stretched more? Does it need more rest? Does it need more activity? Honor what the body is telling, as the body knows best for itself. Filling ourselves with unconditional love as we begin to now make our way to opening our eyes and coming forward as we now begin to dive into the Emerald Order and the Blue Ray. Namaste. Okay. Let's get a little bit of music on for us. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into the blue flame and the Emerald Order. So I'm going to pull up on the share screen some great references and resources for us. Information with something for you to read and to visibly see as well as we go through this, because it's quite deep, and just to listen to my words may not be enough for some of you guys with your learning styles. So I like to cover many different learning styles all at once, so that those of us that have different learning styles can feel welcomed and feel comfortable with receiving the information. So we're going to begin with talking about the Oriflamme. So the Oriflamme is the first light manifestation of the Emerald Order, and they are the Solar Rishi Blue Ray orders of Elohim and Oriflamme that direct support to the guardian founder races in the lower harmonic universe and are supporting GSF liberation, God sovereign free liberation. You remember us talking about that last week, GSF. And the continued spiritual evolution of humanity towards ascension and the law. Oriflamme have Emerald Sun DNA, which is up to 48 strands of DNA. Additionally, there are Oriflamme that carry the double diamond Sun body from 24 to 30 strands of DNA. The Emerald Order Oriflamme and the double diamond Oriflamme are from the Christo lines that are here on the frequencies to repair the architecture of the planetary grid, as well as communicate with the Aurora for the Aurora crystal matrix, re-encryption of elemental body projects with the Master Christos collective, a consortium of beings that are from the 7 higher heaven realms. These are the ancient master builder races that are also called guardian hosts, from which the essences on the earth have been generated to serve as blue flame holders. So if you go back to the very first episode of this series, which you can find on the playlist, we explain the 15-dimensional universal time matrix and how it's laid out and how manifestation and the dimensions of materialization and being take place. And we learn that the Ascended Masters are of the 3 fields of sound that are never taken out of that space, which is why they're Ascended Master rays or energy, because they are meant to hold the foundation for all of existence forever in order for it to even be and to be carried into existence. So these ascended master sound frequencies then turn into light. And when it turns into light, this is where the threefold founder flame begins. It is the first octaves of sound turning into light in our universe. And then from the threefold flame, it trickles down into our 12-dimensional matrix where materialization begins. Materialization into energy bodies, into soul bodies, and then down the dimensions into our physicality, which you see down here in the third dimension with these human bodies. So you can go back to episode 1 if you want to watch that fully in depth. So to continue here, the Orpham are the original representation of the founder guardian race's specialized blueprint forms that were used as a prototype body for the 6D indigo family of consciousness that source from the universal Melchizedek lineages. The blueprint bodies were stepped down as the 3D consciousness human forms were not able to hold the genetic material of a full Orpham consciousness. The Orpham blueprint as a Lyran Syrian shapeshifter consciousness has the ability to biologically transmute itself in and out of a dimensionalized time matrix. It also holds all threefold founder flames and the primal sound fields of the blue ray, the gold ray, and the magenta violet ray, GSF, and direct the spectrum of frequency of all of the founder races of the Christo's consciousness. It is a full rainbow crystal matrix being. So the male Orpham form carries a stronger electrical field and specializes in electrical field transmission, while the female Orpham carries the magnetic field and specializes in magnetic reception. So this ties into simple, basic human biology and science. We understand that male has a output. It is more electrical. It is more stimulating. It is more of action, activating, putting forward, holding the container. So that is why it says the male Orpham carries a stronger electrical field and specializes in electrical transmission. You think about that. The male has the phallus. The phallus gives out that electrical energy as a transmission during exchanges. You think about the female Orpham. It says here, they carry the magnetic field, the magnetic reception. So you think about a human female or a female animal even. They are the receiver. They receive the electrical energy from the male phallus, and that is through magnetism. So as you'll see throughout this series, a lot of our universal knowledge is embedded within just about anything and everything that you can look at in life. And you can see that what started at the creator is nothing more than just duplications of what happened in the beginning of this matrix. Really fascinating. So then continuing, it says, together, they have the greatest ability of any biological race to transmit and receive threefold founder flame to help prepare the universal blueprint bodies all the way down to our destinies. They are the keepers of the universal time matrix and the capacity for them to begin their creational purposes in genetic repair is now being revealed. So this is pretty deep when you really think about it. Because when you think about the twin flame journey or divine union, things like that, we talk about as human beings how one of the most powerful ways of life that we can come into on this planet as a human is through a healthy and pure divine union. And when we do that, we talk about how that divine union together creates basically a God form or a God body because of the male and the female coming into full balance with each other. And with that, it creates the example of the one from two being a union, which is how we continue to transcend out of the third dimension, is by coming closer to what we feel like is separate and bringing it together into the unified one with us. So we're going to continue on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the blue ray and ways that it materializes and has came into form throughout the dimensions for us to experience. And remember, this is all to just help us be assistance and be of service to our journey here as we descend into these dimensions and then ascend back up to our Omega. So you have the code of the Blue Nile. Blue ray is a gestile of 4 universal harmonic layers of the universal families of blue ray consciousness. The universal Melchizedek lineages that incarnated as the 12 essent tribes, or essences, there are 3 primal order sound fields that make up the ray aspects of our universal creation. And the blue ray is the first order of emanation. The highest order of the blue ray family emanate from the 13th circulatory gate of the Mother God aspect. This is the first layer projected from the 0-point universal God core. The first order blue ray family are the esoteric. Oh, this is interesting. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about this. It's pretty cliched at this point. They are the esoteric 144,000 genetic timekeepers of our universal time matrix. So that probably answers it for a lot of us that have been maybe curious about what the 144 really means in its originality. And is known in the Egyptian and Syrian histories as the Code of the Blue Nile. Many galactic wars throughout human and non-human extraterrestrial history have been waged from gaining control and access in this code, to this code, which holds essentially every genetic key that allows access in the kingdom of God or the God worlds, Maharahi lines. So Sirius, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sirius. So Sirius is a star planet, and it's also known as the central sun, and it's a blue color. So there's also blue-ray beings that inhabit Sirius and carry the blue-ray frequency. And there's also a Lyran Syrian Council. So if you're familiar with the Lyrans, the founder, first race of this universal matrix, those Lyrans have a council in Sirius. And this council came afterwards when Lyra and Orion had the Draconian Wars. So then, due to parts of Lyra being destroyed, some of the Lyrans dispersed into Sirius, as well as the Pleiades, Aurora, and other places. So then the Syrian and Lyran Council came apart. So a group of the Orphan or those Christos races with double diamond sun templates, were hybridized with the Azurite races of Sirius B in order to create a special Maharahi lineage, in which would act as the guardian gatekeepers for the portal of the entry of the Indigo lines. They were the overseers as they incarnated in waves upon the earth during the ascension cycle. Some of these branches from Sirius B also went to Terra and were members of the Azurite Templar teams, protecting the Stargates and performing missions as guardian gatekeepers. All right, so I'm going to talk about this, the Emerald Covenant, the Emerald Founder Records. The Cosmic Founders promised to us was made with the Emerald Covenant, that all souls in the fallen universe would eventually be found and return back to their original spiritual home. This was the original divine plan of spiritual ascension, the evolutionary journey through the astrological ages and timelines, which would facilitate our way back home to remember our divine purpose and be reunited with God. If you don't like to use God, you can say source, creator, however you feel. It's all interchangeable and it's all universal. So I'm going to read this to you guys. This is a picture of the Emerald Covenant. It says, first, God, world, creation, founder races, Emerald Order, Amethyst, and Gold. Unify the earth race lines through spiritual healing and freedom to enter IFWC. Supporting Orphan and Indigo Grail lines to awaken and evolve into Diamond Sun. Support all humanity to regenerate DNA toward Diamond Sun, Gold Sun. Educate hidden history, founder records, law of one plates, and bioregenesis. Allow free will choice on what agendas humanity follows. Uphold egalitarian freedom, reverence for life, unconditional love, respect, and natural laws. And that is the Emerald Covenant. And I will, as usual, be putting these references in the chat for you guys, or in the description, so that you guys can access these things anytime. So I'm sure some of us may naturally feel a connection to these devotions through the Emerald Covenant, and I'm sure some of us naturally in our DNA and through our life have felt integrity or ethics involving these kind of ways of life, which is why we're here to serve. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Blue Flame Melchizedeks. So I'm sure you guys have heard about Melchizedek at some point in history, whether it's through, the Christian text about Melchizedek, or it's about the spiritual side of Melchizedek and the Melchizedek order. I also know Rastafarianism, they also talk about the Melchizedeks as well. So until the earth underwent the ascension cycle and reached the threshold in which the crystalline grid was able to hold the highest Christo's frequency in the intelligent coding that was contained in these discs, the Emerald Founders assigned members of the Syrian High Council to guard and preserve the sacred wisdom in these holy records for the future benefit of the earth. Thus, those assembled in the Syrian High Council that were primarily in the universal Christos lineage of the Emerald Order and Blue Flame Melchizedeks were acting as the primary activists of Earth's vast genetic library and timeline history through the Gnostic process of their own consciousness embodiment. The data was compiled upon a master copy of 12 holographic discs and were known as the original Emerald Founder Records, which contain the basis for describing the consciousness mechanics of reality, manifestation, and the unification of all expressions with the eternal, loving, one God source. These discs include extremely advanced technology information about the primary Templar stargates, ley lines, the spiritual science text, and that spiritual science is put together because it's showing that spirituality and science are meant to be together as a collaboration with each other to help us basically be able to transmit or to decipher spirituality through this third dimension, which is science. Science helps us from this third dimension understand what's going on in other dimensions. Then spirituality is what binds everything together. And then we study spirituality, which is studying consciousness of the universe through science. So as you noticed, we've been in a time where it's, oh, the church versus science, or it's the church and separate from science, or whatever it may be. And what this does is it causes that disconnect between different dimensions just naturally being together in our consciousness. So these are outlined in the Law of One Consciousness, freedom teachings that unify sacred sciences with spirituality, the Law of One. So I'll read this as well, and then we'll continue on. And this is about Yeshua Essene manuscripts. So during the founder Guardian Yeshua mission, it was the purpose of Yeshua through access to his higher embodiment as a universal blue flame Melchizedek. And we're learning a little bit about who Yeshua truly is right now. Definitely didn't expect that. But right now in this moment, we are learning about on a soul level who Yeshua is and his purpose of why he came to this planet. So he is part of the universal blue flame Melchizedeks, and he's also part of the Syrian Council. And he was here to help regain control over the essence Christo's Templar translations from the 12 holographic discs. So this goes back to the 12 tribes, the Kabbalah 12-pointed grid, Kalatonic science. His embodiment was divinely purposed to retrieve much of the founder records by transferring that information into written manuscripts and sacred texts in order to return the spiritual knowledge of the inner Christos back to all of humanity. This knowledge included humanity's true origins from the planet Terra that extended from other universes, and the historical accounts from the Luciferian rebellion, the Atlantean kaleidoschism, as directly given to him through the Emerald Founder records. The Yeshua Essene team included his genetic equal wife and 12 people that acted in the role of grid work. So I'm actually going to, so if you notice in this sentence here, the Yeshua Essene team, when we're talking about the Yeshua Essene team, this is Yeshua, his disciples, and all that basically were a team surrounding his life and journey here. So this is Mark, Matthew, all of them are part of his Essene team. And then it also says his genetic equal wife. His genetic equal wife is Mary Magdalene. And if we know something about modern Christianity and some other religions, they don't acknowledge Mary Magdalene as a genetically equal wife to Yeshua. So that's a pretty key fact of truth in our knowledge and history to really keep an eye on and pay attention to. So genetically equal wife and his 12 people that acted in the role of grid workers. aka disciples. So disciples are grid workers. Disciples go to the Christ, they go to the Pharaoh, they go to whoever the leader is, so to say, and they get the knowledge passed down to them, whether it's the blue flame, gold flame, or emerald or violet flame. And then those disciples, aka planetary grid workers, then take all that information and codes, and then they start dispersing it through the ley lines of the earth, spreading it around. And then this is also to run rainbow frequencies into the earth ley lines. They were organized with the mission to help realign the planetary grid network and Stargate system from outside the control of the alien invaders. Now, when we say alien invaders, we're talking about beings that are not from the earth, that came to earth and decided to try to control and create a manipulation system, aka some draconians and some other beings as well. The spiritual mission was to restore alignment back to the angelic humans and the true representatives of Christo's consciousness on the earth when the stargates finally opened during the ascension cycle. Okay. So if you guys notice here too, we were talking about the 12 holographic discs. So think about the emerald tablets, the emerald tablets of Thoth, the emerald order, the blue ray, keeping the records of truth. This is where Thoth comes in. Thoth the Atlantean. So Thoth the Atlantean, he is tied in to the blue ray and the emerald order, which is why Thoth is commonly known and associated with the emerald tablets, because the emerald tablets are like holographic discs in our etheric universe that carries the will, the information, the codes, the blueprint to the blue flame of truth. So this is why if you study and you listen to the emerald tablets, you hear about Thoth's journey as a being and how he is carrying these different energies of truth to help remind us of who we are. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up on the screen. A wonderful image of Thoth for you guys, so you guys can kind of connect with him a little. So you have Thoth here. Good old Thoth. And there's been a lot of misconceptions about Thoth throughout history as well. Some like to demonize Thoth. But for me, if we're demonizing Thoth, then maybe there's just a little bit of things to work on with our shadow. Because this knowledge is the knowledge of the Emerald Order. And if you truly listen and allow yourself to be one with the teachings of the Emerald Tablets, you realize that it's just nothing more than your own consciousness talking to yourself about what the human journey is and what the multidimensional universe is. And you take it or leave it. So that's Thoth right there, the Atlantean, the Emerald Tablets, commonly depicted with an Ankh, Merkaba, also depicted with a baboon, and also a caduceus wand with a scribe, because he's also connected to Mercury. And Mercury is communication, transmission of messages. It is wisdom being brought into form. It's taking experience and turning it into expression. And that is what Thoth's archetype represents in our consciousness. So anytime you connect with Thoth, or Thoth comes to you, quote unquote, those are the kind of energies and the reasons why that energy is coming up in your consciousness. Because you're going to go into a deep journey of self-discovery in this universe. Alrighty. So now we're going to go ahead and continue. Now that we've talked about, what the blue ray is and the emerald order, we're going to go ahead and talk about ascended masters, archangels, and crystals that directly connect us with this essence and ray of light spectrum, the blue flame of God's will. So we just went through Thoth. Thoth is one being, one representation. We have the archangel of the blue ray, or the blue flame. Very commonly known in our society. And that is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is the archangel. He is the Elohim. That is the representation form of the first ray, God's will, the blue ray. So that is why Archangel Michael can be called upon and consciously utilized in our life when it comes to protection, strength, clarity, as well as stepping into our empowerment and using our voice and expressing the truth. And with that, dissolving lies, dissolving distortions, and bringing things back to the will of our source creator God, the blue ray. So Archangel Michael is one representation through the Archangel Council that is able to help assist you in being more in alignment with this blue ray aspect. Now, archangels aren't a part of the Ascended Master Councils. They are a little bit lower in the dimensions when it comes to the council that they hold. So therefore, they're actually just slightly a little bit more closer to our dimension. So along with Archangel Michael, you can also connect with the main Ascended Master of the Blue Ray, which is El Moria. El Moria is the Ascended Master of the first ray, the Blue Ray. And I'll go ahead and read a little bit to you guys about El Moria. So, the first blue ray integrates the Creator's divine will and plans for each individual and the universe overall. Connecting with the first ray helps one to align themselves with their rightful path. Those already on the righteous path will find themselves invigorated with courage, enthusiasm, bravery, passion, and unwavering confidence when they call upon El Moria and the first blue ray. So then we're also going to talk about the throat chakra. Since the throat chakra is blue and it is a representation of the blue ray in our human makeup. So it's called the power center. The chakra relates to your ability to speak your truth, express ideas clearly, truthfully, gracefully, and become harmoniously attuned to both inner and outer vibrations. So along with this, you guys can learn in depth about all the chakras if you go to my playlist on the YouTube channel, Light Body Awareness 101, where I go in depth about each of the chakras. But a little bit more about the throat chakra is that the throat chakra is the chakra where we also discern. It's also where we receive information and energy. So not only do we express and put out energy, but it's also where we are able to listen. It's where we are able to retain the information that is being expressed into our field, which is important for discernment as well as integrity. So that's another aspect of the throat chakra and why it's important to have a balanced throat chakra. Then I also want to put this out there too, just as a little side note. Some ways that we can block our throat chakra is if we're passive aggressive, if we bypass, if we suppress our emotions, or if we fear putting our creative abilities and expressions out into the world. Those are all blockages that can cause in the throat chakra. All right, so that's El Moria. El Moria is the Ascended Master of the Blue Ray, and you may call upon him and connect with him at any time. And I will be doing a wrap-up practice with us to give us an experience of what it's like to connect with all these different beings. So next we have the Syrians. We have the Syrian Blue Ray beings. So as we mentioned here, there are these Syrian council members. And Syrians are typically a blue-bodied being. Now, this body isn't third dimensional physical. It's more a little bit lighter, like a fifth and sixth dimensional density. But there still is a form. It's just not as dense. It's a little bit more holographic or lighter, so to say. So the Syrians, there are many different kinds of Syrians as well. And the Syrians are also associated with bringing healing, higher intelligence, as well as the truth to this planet on Earth. There is a lot of Syrian connection. There's a lot of Syrian activity. And a big example of that is the Giza pyramids. So the Giza pyramids in Egypt, you may notice that they are aligned with Sirius whenever the annual flooding of the Nile takes place, as well as Lionsgate. And this is for a divine reason. Sirius is one of the parent planetary systems to this planet Earth that we're on. And with its planetary and parent-like energy, it anchors down into this Earth grid through the Giza pyramids and through other ways of alignment, so that we have that connection and energy continuing to stimulate and guide us while we're here on this Earth consciousness. So Sirius is also known as our central sun, or our mother sun, to the father sun that we have. So some of us here are Syrian starseeds. Some of us are a part of the Syrian Council. And if that's something that you ever want to discover and deep dive, you guys can have the service with me of the Starseed Akashic Soul Origin meditation, where I can help you uncover and remember your galactic lineage and why you're here on the earth. So along with the Syrian Blu-rays, you also have the canine beings. You have the canine beings like Anubis. Anubis is also of the Syrian ray of light as well, which is why it helps with healing our wounds, doing shamanic deep diving into inner child healing, like Chiron. So then, along with that, in Sirius B, because there is multiple Siriuses, in Sirius B, you have more of the aquatic, water mammal, aqua templates of rays of light. And this is that mixture between green and blue, the aqua template. The aqua template is where we connect with our dolphin and whale family. This is also some intergalactic mermaids as well. This is all connected with Sirius B. So this is why whales, dolphins are so healing for us on the earth, just by their frequencies and their vibrations, the sonar energy that they put out. That is not a third dimensional thing. That is a Syrian, fifth and sixth dimensional transmission of energy and communication that the dolphins and whales are working with. And they're helping bridge and anchor these blue ray energies and frequencies into our planet by being present here and embodying their being. Pretty magical. That's why there's dolphin therapy. That's why dolphins are so in tune with how to help and all these different things. So that does it for, different guides and different beings that you can connect with when it comes to this first flame or first ray, God's will, the blue flame. Pretty fascinating. So as you may know, we connect with a lot of these energies naturally, maybe unconsciously in our life. And we may be attracted to them at certain times in our life because we may need some of that blue flame energy through these different type of ways. Whether it's connecting with Archangel Michael, El Moria, dolphins and whales, it is all the same type of octave of energy that we are correlating and connecting with. So lastly, just to share a little bit more with you guys, as a Blu-ray, Archangel Michael is your guiding archangel. You know him so deeply on a soul level, he prepared you for the mission on Earth. He's been with you since day one. Imagine how deeply he may want to connect back in with you, consciously in this lifetime. How much support can he offer once you start calling him every day and open the door to a true partnership in this lifetime? In the sessions, you can activate memories of our ancient cosmic connection with Michael. Your mission as a Blu-ray soul, serving divine will. As a Blu-ray soul, you have special gifts and wisdom. When a Blu-ray soul is fully activated, they're fiercely devoted to serving divine will, and they receive very clear information on how to do so. Because the blue flame is the flame of divine will. Nothing is more important to a Blu-ray soul than serving divine will. As Blu-ray humans, we can often forget the other part, the receiving from the divine, not just serving. In this ceremony, you can activate your Blu-ray soul mission to serve and support you in truly receiving from Source and inviting in miraculous powers, energies into your daily life. So we also have here the Archaea of Faith and the Pleiadian Blue Rose. So we're talking a little bit about the Pleiadians as well. So the Blue Ray has both masculine and feminine. Archangel Michael's Sapphire Blue Ray is the powerful masculine. That is decisive, protection, powerful and clear. But the feminine blue energy, which is more of that lighter pink, sky blue, more aqua looking color. This is where the feminine counterpart of Archangel Michael comes in. And that is Archaea Faith. And she helps us with the feminine Blu-ray templates of the Pleiades, with the Pleiadian star mothers. So I'm sure some of us may have heard of the Council of Seven, the Hathor beings. They're connected to the Pleiadian feminine Blu-ray templates. So as we receive healing and teachings from the blue rose, the white blue ray and the divine mother energy of blue, it helps us remember softness, nurturing, and the other power of the blue ray. So you have the blue water of the whales. The whales come forth from the realm of blue water in the whale temples of Sirius, and they share the activation of mother whale and whale energy. Archangel Michael is the guardian of the Magdalene lineage. And then you can always activate and work with the Sword of Truth, which helps you with cutting through illusions, cords of fear and attachment, and penetrates all that it touches in order to bring back the truth. So those are some examples of how you guys can consciously connect with the blue ray, and the different ways it's represented. Hydration check for everybody. All right. So now to go into our last part of information, and then we'll do a closeout meditation, is crystals. So we're going to talk about a few crystals that I have with us that can connect us with the blue ray and the emerald order. And each of these crystals is going to have its own different individual purpose, but that purpose is still embedded within that blue ray spectrum of how it's going to be working with you. So I definitely recommend looking into each individual crystal and see for yourself how you can use it and how it relates for our well-being. So our first example I have here, lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli is a classic, well-revered ancient royal stone of the blue ray. So lapis lazuli is, of course, good for the throat chakra. It is great for giving you that calmness that you need in order to feel confident in expressing yourself and communicating, especially if you're about to give a speech, if you're a leader, if you're someone that needs to speak to a crowd, or you need to teach. Having lapis lazuli is a great way to support, boost, and give you that stability in your throat center of speaking the truth, as well as being able to listen and to answer questions more patiently and properly. Along with that, lapis also helps you feel your inner connection before you express. So it gets you out of that impulse energy, and it brings you into a more clear state of acting instead of reacting. And there's much more out there as well when it comes to lapis. You can always take a look, especially its ancient history in Egypt. Next crystal I have for us is sodalite. Sodalite is another nice deep blue crystal. Next I have, this is one of my personal favorites, blue kyanite. So there's many different kinds of colors of kyanite out there, but blue kyanite is amazing because it is one of the few stones that actually cleanses itself. So you never have to cleanse and reset this stone. It's naturally made to absorb as well as deflect and protect you when it comes to energies that are not aligned for you. So this blue kyanite to me is like, it's almost like the epitome of Archangel Michael when you think of his properties and traits. So yeah, blue kyanite is great. Next we have labradorite. Labradorite is very popular. One of the most beautiful stones, I feel like, especially with its rainbow and capturing light spectrums. And labradorite is a great bridge between the throat chakra and the third eye. And what it does is it helps you be able to connect your expressions and your creative output of energy with your higher consciousness and with your divine wisdom and divine intelligence that goes beyond the third dimension. So it's a really good bridger between your third dimension of using your throat chakra and your fourth dimension of divine wisdom and higher insight through the mind's eye, and bridging those together so that we're communicating from a higher intelligence. Labradorite is also good for your spiritual enhancement, psychic abilities, and tuning into deeper meditation with the higher self. Next we have Amazonite. So Amazonite, as you guys can see, is a little bit more of a pastel, a little bit more brighter and lighter blue, almost like aqua. Thank you. So as you can see, this has a little bit more of a kind of aqua turquoise color. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you with connecting with the throat and the heart. And this is kind of where that emerald energy and that aqua energy comes in, is that this is going to help you with not only communicating, but it's going to help you with feeling more in your heart when you're expressing. So you're going to access more of your deeper unconditional love, your compassion, your softness, your feminine side, and bringing that into your speaking, into your expressions, and into your truth. And also the higher heart chakra, located between the heart and the throat. This higher heart chakra, the 12 chakra system, this is our transmutation center, where we transmute the empathy that we take on through the heart up and out of the higher heart, and then through the throat we speak from a Christ-like space. Aquamarine is beautiful for softness, tapping into energies like Kuan Yin. Last crystal I have for you guys, last and certainly not least, and it only makes sense that I show this to you guys, and that is emerald. Emerald, of course, is beautifully perfect to connect with the emerald order and the blue ray. And emerald is an OG of the heart, really great for the heart chakra, really good with helping us feel like we are connected to all, and that we have that compassion from the divine, and that we are safe to be able to share our love with the world. And that is emerald. It's actually an emerald matrix too, by the way. So those are my crystals I have for you guys today. Actually, I'll share this last one too. And this is celestite. So celestite is a very higher frequency blue ray energy. And this connects us with our angels, our guides, and anything else regarding the spiritual realms. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and take a moment. I'm gonna let you guys take a look at one of my upcoming retreats in August. It definitely ties in perfectly with these episodes, and that is my Ascended Masters Nature Retreat coming up in August. I'm gonna let you guys check out this preview, and while you're checking it out, feel free to get comfortable. Maybe even grab some blue or green crystals for the meditation, as we're going to do a real nice meditation to help us connect with Archangel Michael, El Moria.
Step into a sacred space of nature, wisdom, and community at the Ascended Masters Nature Retreat, August 15th to 17th. That's the power of connecting with Ascended Masters in a supportive community. If you're seeking that kind of profound spiritual experience, join us for the Ascended Masters Nature Retreat this August 15th through 17th in the beautiful Zaleski State Forest near Hocking Hills, Ohio. This 3-day camping retreat, hosted by Marcus, ChristoLight of Sacred Light, offers a unique opportunity to connect with the energies of Ascended Masters, including Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, Yeshua, El Moria, and more. Participate in flow shops focused on mind-body emotion alignment, crystal healing, and working with different rays or flames of light. Enjoy the Nature Center, beach and lake activities, and hiking trails during your free time. All plant-based meals are provided. Tickets: 1 day for $55, 2 days for $99, or all 3 days for $122. Register now with the link in the description or visit Sacred Light Retreats. Spaces are limited. Questions? Text Marcus ChristoLight at 513-238-5580.
All right. So yes, if you guys have any questions, you'd like to register and be a part of the Ascended Masters first time ever nature retreat, reach out. Feel free to contact me, or you can go directly onto the site that was promoted and begin your register process for the Ascended Masters retreat in August. That being said, go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Consider lay down for this practice. If you have to stand, that is okay as well. And go ahead and grab any of that crystals that you wanted to use. You can make a little grid if you want, or you can go ahead and just grab that crystal, hold it in your hand, or you can place it right around your throat area, maybe even right at that higher heart, right below the throat. Feel free to hold that there. You can put your palms over it. Just relax your shoulders. Relax your body as we go into this. And as you relax your body and get comfortable, you can begin to focus on your breath. And I'm just going to demonstrate and guide us through a meditation that we can all do at home anytime and show others, and how to use Archangel Michael, El Moria, in these different ways of enlightenment for ourselves. So focusing on the breath, breathing through the body. I'll be playing a little bit of the throat chakra singing bowl as well. Closing our eyes, focusing it within. Breathing through the nose. And as we breathe, we are breathing through our throat chakra, helping clear and activate this blue ray portal of our being. Staying with the breath as we continue this meditation. Eaya suto makina yapusha mana yukupana emaya yukumata emaya shune kena ude makaye nukunate anate. And as we breathe, we can feel ourselves becoming lighter, becoming one with all energy. So we now begin to welcome and surrender our being to the blue flame of Archangel Michael. As Archangel Michael comes swooping in with his angel wings and flaming blue sword of truth and justice, we are welcoming and calling in this flaming blue sword. As we open our being for a clearing, a releasing of attachments and fear that is in our life, present within our human. Breathing with the blue flame as we clear, release, and let go of attachments and fears. Becoming lighter, feeling more at ease as we let go of these energies from relationships, places, experiences that do not serve in our highest order of the law of one. Staying with the breath as we alchemize. As Archangel Michael beautifully does his divine duty, simultaneously Ascended Master El Moria, for the first ray, God's will, comes into our space, embracing us the unconditional love of the blue ray, helping refill our being in the areas where we may be wounded, tender, out of balance from these releases and experiences, so that we may regenerate and refill in these parts of our aura that could be damaged. Feeling the blue ray almost like water flowing and engulfing our being with truth of unconditional, eternal energy that we are. Releasing and letting go of the stories, the attachments, the victimhood. Releasing codependency, people-pleasing before ourselves for the order of truth. Na yeshuno koma na ine suno no kia nata me na kuna ma di na shuno kuto anana. The blue kyanite, sweet Archangel Michael, Moria fills us with the labradorite, helping us remember our spiritual insight and wisdom as we express our truth in this reality, bringing our lower nature to our higher intelligence before acting and speaking, being mindful and thoughtful. I am embodying these traits. I am letting go of negative traits that are damaging myself and others. And while we restore with Moria and Michael, we are now given a third layer of divine connection as our Syrian blue ray brothers and sisters begin to channel down their Syrian rays of light, channeling it down through the Giza pyramids, connecting into our fields on this earth, feeling the codes of Sirius, the Lyrans, and the Giza, all assembling and activating within our being. And now to finish off the space, our beautiful dolphin, whale, and mermaid star family begin to channel their rays in and through our heart chakra and higher heart chakra, through our emerald and adventurine, breathing in these rays of aqua and turquoise templates, bringing softness to the truth, bringing elegance. Iya no kumata maya maukupati na pia tupa eke mo kumaki na ya kute ma umeya nata ya meya no kute ne. Feeling our hearts and our higher hearts beginning to fill and fill and fill and swirl with green and aqua, blue energy. Staying with the breath as we embrace the surrounding of the blue ray and emerald order, Archangel Michael, El Moria, the dolphins and whales, the Sarian blue ray beings, all present with their perfect law of one order of the blue ray present in our consciousness. Now we're taking all of this beautiful energy and allowing it to flow and balance through our being as we bring it to our heart center and capture it in the middle of our heart chakra, helping bridge and keep us connected with our higher and lower nature as one. When you're ready, you may return, come forward in your physical body, and get ready for the rest of your day. I want to thank you all for tuning in, tapping in to this episode of Grand Rising with ChristoLight, the Blue Flame and Emerald Order. If you found this very beneficial and informative for yourself, please like, share, and subscribe. Share this with a family member, friend, community, or anybody else that you feel called. Feel free to review and watch this replay as many times at your own pace as you would like, as there is many layers of information. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found a great experience and connection through these different rays of representing the blue ray of light. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comments. Reach out to me personally as well if you want any services or if you'd like to sign up for any retreats. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow in the AM, 9 a.m. Eastern, as we will be continuing along our journey here with the threefold flames. And we will dive into the pink flame, also known as the magenta flame, which is connected to the violet order. So, in the meantime, enjoy yourselves, stay hydrated, make sure you guys take care of your temples, and keep on enjoying the beauty of life. I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, live, Sacred Light Broadcast Network, and Facebook Live, ChristoLight Robbins.
Get your tickets now for a rare, one-of-a-kind, multi-dimensional Lionsgate 8/8 retreat coming up in Sedona, Arizona at Camp Avalon, hosted by Marcus ChristoLight of Sacred Light from 8/6 to 8/9. Experience the powerful Lionsgate 8/8 portal, amplified by Sedona's legendary vortex energy. This retreat is your chance to align mind, body, and spirit during a time of deep awakening and transformation. Join ChristoLight for chakra balancing, Sarah for herbalism, Yuga for qigong, Aliyah for ecstatic dance, and Cher for orgonite technology, plus more healing flow shops with expert guides. Enjoy hiking Sedona's stunning landscapes,
nourishing plant-based meals, and camping under the stars with a conscious community. Step into a safe, sacred space to connect, heal, and discover your multidimensional self. Embrace self-empowerment, vulnerability, and community as you shed old layers and awaken to your highest potential. Tickets: $188 for 1 day, $333 for 2 days, or $444 for all 3 days. Payment plans available. Register now with the link in the description or text Marcus at 513-238-5580 to reserve your spot.